So class 6, our next topic is pollination. And what is pollination? So pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of a carpel. Okay, transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of a carpel is called pollination. Now there are two types of pollination: self-pollination and cross-pollination. So what is self-pollination? So self-pollination, when pollen grains from anther, okay, when pollen grains from anther of a flower are transferred to the stigma of a same flower is called self-pollination. Okay, so when pollen grains from anther of a flower are transferred to the stigma of a flower of same flower, okay, to the stigma of a same flower is called self-pollination. Whereas cross-pollination is that pollination in which pollen grains from anther of a flower on one plant are transferred to the stigma of a flower on another similar plant is called cross-pollination. Okay, or you can say that transfer of pollen grains from anther of a flower to the stigma of another plant of same kind is called cross-pollination. Okay, now agents of pollination. So pollen grains cannot move on their own. Okay, so these depends on external agent, also called pollinating agent, for their movement from anther to stigma. Okay, so pollinating agent are as integral parts of cross-pollination, as flowers which are pollinated are usually located far away on different plants. Okay, so pollinating agent include insect, wind, water, etc. So I'll tell you one example of how pollination by insect take place. Okay, so some plants, they are pollinated by insects, some are pollinated by wind, some are pollinated by water. Okay, but I'll tell you only one example. So we will discuss about the pollination that take place by insect. Okay, so insect, they help in cross pollination. Okay, so how they used to help in cross pollination? So when an insect sit on a flower, okay, so when an insect sit on a flower of a plant for sucking nectar, okay, then the pollen grains from the anther of this flower stick to its body. And when this insect now sit on another flower of another similar plant, then the pollen grain sticking to its body are transferred to the stigma of this second flower. Okay, in this way the insect transfer pollen grains from anther of a flower in one plant to the stigma of a flower in another plant and causes cross pollination. Okay, so this is how the pollination by insect take place. Okay, after this pollination, fertilization used to take place. Okay, so after pollen grains falls on the stigma, the next step is fertilization. Okay, now fertilizations occur when the male gamete present in the pollen grains join with the female gametes present in ovules. Okay, or you used to define fertilization as fusion of male gametes with the female gametes to form zygote is called fertilization. So how this fertilization used to take place? Okay, so when the pollen grains falls on the stigma, okay, when the pollen grains falls on the stigma of the carpel, it bursts. Okay, it bursts open and grow a pollen tube downwards towards a style, towards the female gametes in the ovary. Okay, a male gametes moves down in the pollen tubes. The pollen tubes enter the ovule in the ovary. The tip of the pollen tube bursts open and male gametes come out of pollen tubes. In ovary, the male gametes of pollen combine with the nucleus of female gametes or egg present in ovules to form a fertilized egg called zygote. And in this way, fertilization has taken place. Okay, so this is about fertilization. So after fertilization, okay, formation of fruits and seed take place. Okay, so fruits So fruits vary widely in shape, size, color and flavor. They form an important part of human and animal diet. Okay, a fruit is formed after the process of fertilization. Okay, the changes that are seen in flower after fertilization are as follows. The ovary develop into fruits. The ovules develop into seed. The outer layer of the ovules form the testa or the seed coat, and petals and sepal they fall off. So fruits you can define as a fruit is defined as a ripened ovary. Okay. So now the parts of fruits. So a mature fruit is formed of layers which are collectively termed as pericarp. Okay. It is often called the outer wall of fruits and is developed from the walls of the ovary. The nature of pericarp varies from fruit to fruit. Okay. Now layers of pericarp. So layers of pericarp we are going to define. Layers of pericarp. So fleshy fruits have distinguished layer of pericarp. These are epicarp, mesocarp and exocarp. Okay. These are epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. Okay. The epicarp is the outermost layer of fruit is termed as epicarp. Okay. The outermost layer of fruit is termed as epicarp, whereas mesocarp is the middle layer of fruits. Okay. It is found just inside the epicarp. Okay. Endocarp is the innermost layer of pericarp. It's called endocarp. Okay. Some examples of fleshy fruits are tomatoes, oranges, peaches, mangoes, etc. Now the function of fruit is, first of all, function of fruit is that fruit is stored food inside them. The fruits protect seeds. Some fruits have a structure such as hook, spines and bristles. They help the fruit to stick to body of animals and subsequently facilitate the dispersal of seed to far away a place. Now the seed. So seed is known as the ripened ovules. Okay. So seed are formed after the fertilization of ovules by the pollen grains. And under favorable condition, a seed germinate into a seedling. When the seed get a favorable condition means water, sunlight, temperature, air, everything. So a seed, it germinate into a seedling. Okay, a seed consists of a following parts. So the main parts of seed are seed coat, endosperms, embryo and cotyledons. Okay, these are the main parts of seed. Now seed coat. What is seed coat? So seed coat consists of one or more layer that protect the seed. Okay. The outer layer of seed is called testa and the inner layer of seed is called tegmen. Okay. Second one is endosperm. So endosperm is a source of stored food consisting primarily of starch. Embryo is the baby plant that develop inside the seed. Okay. It consists of two parts, plumule and radicles. So plumule developed into shoot system. Okay. It forms the shoot system, whereas radicle form the root system. Okay. Now cotyledons. So cotyledons, these are the first leaves that sprout from the embryo of the seed. Okay. Cotyledons, it is the first leaf that sprout out from the embryo of the seed. Okay. Now seed germination. So seed. Okay, so germination, it is a process in which this one plant develop into a seed develop into a seedling. Okay, so germination is a process in which a seed develop into a seedling. Okay, so seed germination is defined as a process in which a young plant grows from a seed under a favorable condition like water, oxygen and suitable temperature. These are the three necessary conditions for a seed to germinate. Okay, So this is about your chapter. Now there are two types of germination, that is apigeal germination and hypogeal germination. So apigeal germination is that germination in which the cotyledons move and rise above the soil, okay, and form the first leaves. Whereas hypogeal germination is that germination in which the cotyledons remain below the soil. So this is about your chapter. Your chapter is completed. Please do the exercise side by side.